Welcome everybody, today is the 13th of May. I am of course Liberlander Yoshi Livo, still streaming 20 miles out of Liberland soil. Today I got a special guest in the King HONKspiritSEE show. It's Teun van Sambeek that I met over the weekend because he launched a new... It's not really a crypto protocol, but it is a monetary unit that is... supposed to become a universal basic income for the world. So I'm highly intrigued to learn more about it. Let me just start off by writing down the website in the chat, onecoinh.org, in case you want to visit it yourself and check out the progress. Like I said, this is the 30th of May, so maybe things are going to change in the future, but we are talking in today's time. So, Teun, welcome to my show. Nice of you to show up.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, and
finally,
I'm always interested in people that want to change the monetary system because, well, not everybody is convinced yet, but the debt system is broken since 1971, if you ask me. So we are in need for something different, and I always like to hear about ideas that people have. So maybe you could give a quick introduction into what it is you are proposing.
Yeah. So what you say, it has to do with universal basic income, or I don't like the term universal too much because they changed I think they changed the term on purpose. So it used to be unconditional basic income, and they changed it to universal because, of course, they will propose it once the central bank digital currencies come in. They will propose it, and then it's universal and not unconditional.
Yeah, you only need to take an untested toxic jab for it.
Exactly. So you will jump to whatever hoop they will put in front of you to get your piece of the pie. So and you know that's a very dystopian future. And I got 5 kids, and I really wouldn't like to see them living in that future. So because freedom is very important. People have no clue what freedom is, I think, most of the people, but once they lose it, they will know what they have lost. So and I live in Africa, and people here are way freer, I think, than people in Europe. You see a lot of people moving to the city here, but they still have connections to the villages. And once this dystopian future arrives, people here will just return to the villages and live life more close, like how it should be lived, I guess, instead of in this fully controlled grid cities. So yeah, so it's about a universal basic income, or unconditional basic income, but then in a way that is really unconditional. And when you want to do that, let's say in a cryptocurrency, you encounter a few very big issues. Also, I like cryptocurrencies a lot. I think it's a very smart system. I especially like the let's say privacy coins a lot, like Pirate Chain and Monero. And
oh wait, before you continue, what about the Mimblewimble upgrade of Litecoin? Or am I too deep? Do you follow that or not?
Yeah, but there are so many coins. So I read a little bit about. I think the protocols that are not fully private don't really have my attention too much, because I think I sort of believe what Jeff Burrick believes, is that there will be a sort of a flippening when people start to understand what it means that their coins are being surveyed, to, let's say, privacy coins and to especially atomic swaps. I think when those systems will really take off, then that part is then I think that type of cryptocurrency will sort of remain. So what I did like 5 years ago already, when I looked, or 4 years ago, when I really looked at cryptocurrencies, I did sort of a mind research and to see which coins would remain and why would they remain, because to me it doesn't make sense that you have like 5,000 different coins. You know, it's in the end it should be about the best protocol. That's sort of what I believe. I don't see why these coins should live alongside each other.
As long as they have a community, right? As if there are people that are willing to start their own coin, they can make a coin.
No, that's for sure. So I'm not saying that it shouldn't happen, but I think that in the end, because now it's sort of a Wild West system, so you have all these small communities that promote their own coin, and their own coin works well when the community is big, because then it sort of escalates. And so I understand why you have this many communities, but when cryptocurrencies become more mainstream, I think, and well, when like millions and millions of people start using it on a daily basis as a let's say for transactions,
real world transactions, yeah.
Yeah. Then things will be different. So my focus is really on what is the best protocol. I personally think a pirate chain at this moment is the best protocol, which is
keep on talking. I bought them a couple months ago.
Very good.
At a higher price of today.
Yeah, well, tell me about it. So, but yeah, so. And I think once people understand that protocol is better than the other, well, you will start to use it. And when you see that paying with it is let's say easier than the other protocol and faster and cheaper, and so then it will evolve to that. But the problem is when for example, when you have a privacy coin, nobody really knows who you are. And if you want to have an unconditional basic income, then you need to identify people, because you don't want to have a system where you can, let's say, do a Sybil kind of fraud, just creating like 1,000 instances of yourself and collecting 1,000 times the universal or the unconditional basic income. But let me go back to why you would need a universal basic income, and because that's also what a lot of people don't really understand, is why would you need such a thing? Isn't it communistic, or why do you want to do that? It doesn't really make sense.
We had a little clash over the weekend over that. I'm a big proponent of working for your money, so.
Yeah, me too. And I think but you need to get a little bit farther from the earth to see what's going on. So
okay, I'm listening.
So if I take a very broad look at the world, then I see this very small group, like 3,000 people, 5,000 people, that just press a button and create trillions of dollars. And with that, and they do that for 400 years, or they do it for a few thousand years, but especially since let's say the Rothschilds and let's say the Napoleon Wars. So let's say when the central banks were installed, first in Amsterdam and then in London. So from that moment, that for me is, you said 71 was the 1971 was when the fiat currency system just collapsed. No. It's like the inception of a central bank. That's where it's wrong, because these people make you believe that if you do fractional banking, that where you create money out of nothing, that should be legal. and it's just fraud.
Well, we let them get away with it, right?
Yeah. So they are smart. So they bought all the politicians, and the politicians put it into a law that is allowed. Yeah. And if you look at the Bible and the Quran, they say you shouldn't do that.
I'm always, now that you mention religion, I'm always amazed by people eating halal food, paying it with debt money. I'm like, I'm not sure if that's correct, but whatever your belief tells you, man.
Yeah. So yeah, so people 2,000 years already knew that these kind of scams, what is said about Jesus, the only moment that he went into a fight was when he tried to kick out these money changers from the temple. So it's really, if you believe in Jesus,
it goes deep. It goes way back.
You should stop.
Yes.
Yeah, you should stop using your money. So, and that's that people in Nigeria are very religious. So I tell them, I hold these nairas in front of them and say, this is Satan.
Jesus will hate you for it. Huh? Sorry.
Exactly. But yes, and I believe if you talk about religion, that let's say you have religions and you have religious people, but the number one religion in the world is the belief in the fiat currency system.
And the state.
And the state, of course. But I think even money is higher.
True. I have to agree. Most of the politicians today don't even really understand this money. They just, oh, I'm getting it, so I will say whatever I need to do.
Exactly. Yeah. So when I look from this broad perspective to the world, I see these 5,000 people printing money out of nothing and putting the rest in debt, and basically sucking away all the wealth, because it's a pyramid scheme, and that's very clear. If you can't see that, then you don't pay attention. But it's a pyramid scheme. I always also say, for example, they were able to prolong this pyramid scheme by adding China to the pyramid. It was already collapsing like 20, 30 years ago, but because they were able to add China, let's say there's 1 billion people, and told all the banks, so if you find a Chinese person in China with a heartbeat, just give him a loan. And with that scam, yeah, that's what they did. And with that scam, China just rose. So that's why and then they say it's economic growth. Economic growth is also a lie. So economic growth is nothing else than extending or expanding the pyramid.
Yes.
That's economic growth.
It's
nothing.
If you sell one washing machine for €500 this year and you sell the same washing machine next year for €600, you have 20% more washing machine. Although it's still just one. But yeah, it's very true, and I completely agree about what you say with the pyramid system. Of course, the interest on the debt doesn't get created, which creates a debt cycle which you can never get out of. So everybody's basically bankrupt as soon as the first debt is issued. But because we can expand and grow and make the numbers bigger and people believe it, that's the most important part of it, it can just keep on going. And now with the central bank digital currency, I can even see how they can get out of this terrible situation that they got themselves in by introducing negative interest and shrinking the total money supply with that negative interest policy.
I don't think it works like that, actually. I think it's really a reset. So what is happening is they will collapse the entire system. The entire fiat currency system will be collapsed. There will be one coin, and they can just issue, let's say, 5,000 or 10,000 coins per person. And then they bring in this universal basic income. And so you just have an income, and they don't need any economics system anymore. So what will happen is you just need to go to their hoops to receive your money, because they have achieved what they want to achieve, and which is owning everything. So
total control.
Yeah. So I also you can see it on the website. I estimated. I did some. I like to do calculations. I love to work with my spreadsheets and stuff. So when you, let's say, do an estimate of the value of all real estate in the world, and these things nobody does. It's very strange to me. When you go to an economic class, let's say when you're like 12 or something, or 14, then I expected then already that people would say, okay, so how is money created? Nobody tells you how money is created. So how much money is there in the world? Nobody tells you.
Well,
so why is nobody telling me that? So, and then they come with all kind of complicated stuff.
I must say that since the creation of Bitcoin, it did change, at least in the Netherlands, the economic education a little bit. Because I really believe that most people before 2000, let's say like that, in Western nations, maybe 1% of people would understand, but I think actually smaller percentage than that understood how the money system works, because that information just wasn't available. Only after YouTube got created and the Money Masters was broadly shared and the Zeitgeist was broadly shared, did people start to understand the pyramid scheme they were living in. Because people, for example, my parents, I don't want to, they are great people, so no blame to them or whatever, but they believe that there is gold in a vault for every euro created. I've been on the streets in the Netherlands as a 20-year-old guy, handing out roses with my with my mask, with my anonymous mask, and then asking the people, what is money according to you? And well, really half of the people, 50% of everybody I spoke to said, yeah, there is this has value because there is gold in a vault. And somehow that fairy tale got into everybody's mind. So we really came.
It's very.
We really came from very far and very deep, and we just have to be very patient also, because well, these people have all been scammed. It's not because they want to destroy the world that they are all accepting euros and dollars. It's they don't know any better, and they have the feeling that it's the right thing to do. Although money is the most terrible invention of humankind, that's then the bullshit that they brainwash themselves with to explain to themselves why they don't understand it, because then they would have to investigate something evil, and I am a nice person, so I don't care about it. But yeah, it's amazing to me how little people know about what they work for. But it is slowly changing now, and I think Bitcoin made a huge impact on financial knowledge in the world.
Yeah, but I think internet is even more important. Getting information from places where you are not supposed to look, because the indoctrination is just very well crafted. It's like all your life, and that's why people like movies like The Matrix, because you feel there's something wrong. There's something that I don't know, and since the internet, you are able to find out what it is, and so that's also why you get this red pill, blue pill memes and stuff like that. So it makes sense. By the way, I'm looking to when you called me, I was looking to. Session between Corbett and Matthias de Smet about mass formation.
I guess it will. I will see it this weekend.
So that's so what I noticed is when I talk to people and then explain it, they get into this mass psychosis.
They get angry. They get angry at you for saying such ridiculous things.
Exactly, and that's really, it's quite unbelievable. People that and he explains it perfectly. Especially people that have a high education, they just immediately jump to that state. So and they need to, because and I can understand, because if you don't, you die.
You go crazy for a minimum. You start wearing clown wigs and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's really dying and mourning, or somebody. It's like a loved one died, and but it's really like that, and it's very hard. But more people, and what I see in Africa is here it's easier. You know, people they know also. The people here, they know all their life they are being scammed, so they know it.
Yeah. So,
They don't know exactly how, but they know they are scammed. In the Netherlands, people don't know they are scammed.
no, because they scam.
think
No, but it's because they have profits from this scam. They are one of the few people with a benefit.
I don't really agree with you there.
How come? Because they have access to cheap resources globally, and they are the best friend of the one who prints the global reserve currency. So whenever they need some extra, they get it, and if not, they just have to blackmail one extra politician.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what happened is that I think let's say the companies in Europe like Shell and these are let's say the criminals. They steal from Africa the most. So Africa is the continent where most wealth is the only continent in the world where more wealth is taken out than comes back.
Yeah.
So all other continents, let's say, benefit from Africa.
Uh-huh.
It's really amazing. Sorry. Yeah. So
well, you were saying everybody got stolen from, and I made the point. Well, the Dutch people are so stuck because they are actually in a benefit.
So what happened? Yeah. So these multinationals who are based in London, especially London, the city, in Frankfurt, and let's say in Europe, these are the multinationals. So and they bring in their own people to steal, sort of. Yeah. So, but these people that do that, they benefit. So they get more, let's say, out of that theft than the people that are really being stolen from. But I think that the people in Europe are also being stolen from because of this financial system. So if you look, so that's what I'm telling. If I did a calculation, I like these calculations. The total, I think the total value of everything that's on the earth, all the real estate, all equipment, land, if you sort of calculate, you get to about 1,000 trillion dollars.
Okay.
But if you calculate all the money of, let's say, that is owned by people, the pension funds, but also the billionaires like Gates and that are sort of known, that we are allowed to know, then you get to about 10 trillion. So 990 trillion of value is owned by people we don't know. So, and this so it's like it's 99.9% already there. So everything is already stolen. So and that value should be more evenly distributed around the world, because it's stolen from us. So they need to give it back. Yeah, I think these guys they should make a big rocket of Elon Musk and send them to the moon and leave them
beyond
there, people.
and beyond
and beyond. So and then. So, but then you have a sort of an issue. So I think it sort of will happen like that. So I think that once they really try to bring in this system of totalitarianism, people will start to notice it. There are too many people already that know this. How it will collapse, I don't know, but I believe it will collapse. If you don't believe that, then you can better end your life or something. I must believe that it will end, this totalitarianism.
There are at least 5,000.
What will happen in my?
There are at least 5,000 people that disagree, because they are this 1%, so or 0.0.
Well, I think there will be a moment that they say, "Oh no, we agree." As long as you let us have a little bit of what we had. So, but yeah, something like that. But what will happen is that all that real estate and all that land becomes available. So, and how do you distribute it? I think there's not a real proper way how to do that let's say in a controlled way. What will happen is that people that are living in a house will just say this is my house now. You don't need to pay your rent anymore, because there's no government and no bank anymore. So people will just stay in their place and sort of fight it out among each other who owns what, because the banks are gone and the funds that own all that real estate are gone. So that will be sort of a mess.
And this will happen in our lifetime, just for.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay, just to set something.
Unless we die very soon. But no, if we would live another 40 years, then I think this should happen in not more than 10 years.
That's what I said 10 years ago.
Exactly. So,
but people are stubborn creatures.
Yeah. So and the tempo is also being adjusted to what they think is feasible for them. So it's very difficult to predict how far they will go. But what you can see now is that the narrative is sort of collapsing. If I asked here last a guy, so how many people believe in Corona anymore here in Africa, in Nigeria? He said 85%. What? Doesn't believe. So 85% thinks it's fake. So, and that means people know. So and if they come with the monkeypox here, it's people they just laugh it away. It's not an issue. So there are a lot of people in the world that are not going along with these narratives, and I think that's why the change will probably start here, because for the people here it's way easier to say, okay, yeah, so this is a scam. Now it's clear. And I went to buy a phone a few weeks ago, and then I was talking, and I needed to wait for somebody to de-Google my phone. Nobody knew what I was talking about here. So, no, I don't want Google. Hey, you don't want to Google? No. So and then tell me why. So I told why, and then there was one guy said, yeah, I know it. So he knew the story, which is quite amazing. So people just know it. So there are people around walking here that know it. So I think that there are more people here than in Europe, because if you're in Europe, you go to a phone shop, people have no clue what's going on.
Well, there is one, I saw it on Weltschmerz the other day, and there is one guy from the Netherlands who is selling untraceable phones.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, he sells them to you then with a bill.
Okay.
So,
So there's so I was telling why this universal unconditional basic income. So so these people, these 3,000 people, 5,000, they have the monopoly on creating money. So, and that shouldn't be allowed. But money should be there. I don't think it's very difficult for people to imagine a world where there's no money. There will all be something that is used like money. Either it's cryptocurrency or it is gold coin, or
I can tell you something about that also if you want. But let's hear about you first.
Yeah. So, so when you imagine, or when you sort of come to the conclusion there needs to be something like money, then, and you see that the money, this, let's say the not the income inequality, you have the income, but I always call it the wealth inequality.
Wealth gap.
It's more a wealth.
I believe they call it.
Wealth gap. Yeah. So the wealth gap is just so big. So I imagine that the people will stay in the places where they are. So people in the Netherlands have a way bigger benefit of the collapse of the financial system than people in Africa, because the infrastructure in Europe is just better than in Africa.
Okay.
So they don't need to build the roads again. They don't need to build these houses properly again. They are all there. So everybody has a house in the Netherlands. No issue. Here, we need to build all these houses. We need to build all these roads. So when you have a new system, you could say, okay, there should be more money going to Africa because they stole more from Africa. But I don't think it's really necessary. So the only thing what you need to do is to make a sort of an income stream. And this income stream is not, I don't like to really call it income. is just like money creation. So what you want to do is you want to create a new type of money, and you want to, and when you bring in this money, you bring it in more equal, or equal for every living person, let's say the same amount of money. And that amount of money is, let's say, on a, you bring it in slowly, so 1 coin per hour, I say, and then you devaluate it. We can talk about it later, why you would do that. But you devaluate it quite fast, and if you devaluate it, it becomes constant. Electricity comes back now in Nigeria. Yay.
Oh.
Will
you now get faster internet from that? Or
I don't know.
Oh,
no, internet is quite good there.
Okay,
so,
okay.
So they, the people that are in charge know what to do.
Yeah, they want to know about this conversation.
Exactly. They want to track you even when there's no electricity. So, so what you do is you bring in this new money, and you bring it in coin by coin, and when you devaluate it, this supply will become constant in about 20 years, and it amounts to about, let's say, 20,000 coins. And a coin, and now if you look at the money that's circulating, it's about $250 trillion. If you divide it by 7.8 million people, then you get to about $30,000. So the money supply is like $30,000 per living person. So, but it's now, the money is just all collected by the small group, so it's not really distributed evenly about people, among people. So when you do that, I don't think 30,000 is even necessary. So I think when you just provide everybody with sort of a permanent amount of money that is sort of recreating itself constantly, and because you devaluate it, it gets to like 20,000 coins per person, then there's enough money in the world for people to do economic things like just work, cleaning up the environment, producing food, whatever, producing robots to produce food, and people can live a very decent life. So that is, let's say, the best way to replace the financial, let's say, a payment system, because it's a sort of a payment system.
Yeah,
you need to pay.
Yeah.
So that's, let's say, and when you look at various initiatives, when you look, for example, to circles, I don't know if you know about circles. Circles is also a sort of a universal basic income kind of scheme. But also, if you look at Quartal, I don't know if you know Quartal.
I made my own kind of Florijn coin, which was basing money value on time. So I said that 1 unit of mine was equal to 1 hour, and whatever euro value that means to you. I mean, if you are new to a certain profession, you just say, hey, I work for 2 hours for 1 hour because I'm not so skilled yet, and that way even with less skills, I get enough jobs, and somebody that is really skilled might say, hey, my hour will cost you 2 hours, because I am so skilled that I do the time double. So that was just free market for everybody to make up. But I wanted to point people to that the time is money. That is basically...
Exactly. So I think your intuition is right. So money should have a sort of a connection to time. That is quite clear, but there's no need to connect it to work, because once you have the money, then you can work, and then some person can say, okay, this work is very valuable, I'll pay this amount of money for that, or that work is not so valuable, anybody could do it, and so or he's not, let's say, the Lionel Messi that makes the stadium go wild. So there will be differences in how an hour of work will be paid, but that can only be paid once the money is in the system. And it's so you don't need you need not to, you shouldn't, let's say, confuse these two things. So the first thing is just to bring in money, and this bringing in of money is unconditional. Everybody gets a certain amount of money, so then this money is in the system. And then you get this capitalistic system where people can work, or people can just lay down and do nothing and just spend this money to food and let's say consume all their money and are lazy.
Yeah.
I think people will, a lot of people won't do that. So if I look in Africa, people in the Netherlands say, oh, these people from Africa are lazy. Well, if I never saw people working so hard as in Africa. I had a construction site. People were working 12 hours a day for like €5 per day.
I would say it's actually quite the opposite, right? It's more the Dutch people that are lazy. As soon as something goes wrong, they go to the state and say, hey, give me money. Yeah. And they get it.
Yeah. So, but I think that's sort of, that is also the cynicism. Yeah, we talked a little bit about it. It's also, I think it's built in the system by the people that control the stream of information. People are just confused. They don't know what's going on, and they feel miserable because they are badly informed. They just know they don't know what's going on. And I think this talk of Matthias de Smet is also very good. He explains, for example, that people, they don't have a sense of belonging, so they are lonely. Yeah? So people and especially in Western countries are made intentionally very lonely, so they're on their own. And that's why people in the Western world are also very susceptible for this mass formation, psychosis, because they don't feel connections anymore. And when then something like Corona, then they okay, we can fight for this, and so.
On the King HONKspiritSEE stream, we have played hours and hours of Matthias de Smet amongst many others, but we are definitely familiar with mass formation psychosis.
Very good. So, but I think the cynicism has to do with that. It's sort of built up intentionally by the people that just mess with us, and the indoctrinations. They know this. They know what they're doing, and this is not a coincidence in my opinion. So I pity these people more than I sort of despise them. You know, I just pity them. So they just don't know how they've been manipulated. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let me say a couple things. I will not go into my specific story too much, because I'm going to talk about myself again all the time. But you said at some point that we cannot live without money. And I would say we cannot live without money yet. One of the things that I believe in, I don't know if you ever heard of that, but parents that wake up in the middle of the night, most of the time they are mothers, because I believe they have a better connection with the child than the father. But there are also fathers with similar stories, and they feel something is wrong with their child, and at that moment that they woke up, something did happen to that child. And money is a way of communicating that we cannot live without today, because it solves the issue of appreciating each other and explaining that to one another. And in this moment in time we are unable to communicate with each other properly, but who knows what will happen if we learn how to use our communication skills different, and what kind of communication we still don't know about, for example. But that's one thing. A second thing that I wanted to say is that for me there is always a difference between money and currency, and I'm very strict about it, because people say, for example, to the euro that it is money, but it's not, because one of the most important issues of money, at least for me, I don't know, that's why I want to ask you about it. For me, money keeps its value over a longer period of time. So we could see that 1 gram of gold bought, I should say 1 ounce of gold bought a suit 100 years ago. 1 ounce of gold buys a suit today. And that's why gold is money. And I like your idea about starting something completely new outside of any historical events on this planet, and just completely fresh The only thing is from the 1st of January 2022. So that is then, you know, if you are born after that date, you can start to complain. But for the next 18 years, we won't have a problem with them. So, but I like that idea, but I wouldn't call it a money system. You said a payment system was already great, or something like a currency system also works for me. But because of the depreciation factor that you include in the money, we will talk about the system in a minute, and you will, or at least I hope you will explain it with a little bit more detail. I did look into it. I think it's great how it works. I do have a couple. There are trust issues in a way, because it's reputation. A lot of it builds on reputation. Also, it makes it mandatory for people to connect their personal real life identity to their money, which, or currency, here you go, now I'm making the mistakes. But besides of that, I think it's a great proposal that you make. I think something like that could really work out if you manage to get a big, you know, I don't know if you ever heard of Pi platform, for example. They are talking about launching their own blockchain, but at the moment they're just harvesting data on your phone. But there are millions of people that tap this button every 30 minutes to get one extra point. And that means that once that network really starts to have value, you know, it's really important to, we are now here with the two of us talking, you launched a Telegram group, there are now 10 people in it. That's not gonna cut it in a way, you know, you need to really make a big impression to make that impact.
You know, for me, it's also more like a learning experience.
And maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea, for example, to make the date the 1st of January 2023, so that you have 6 months to build that group of people, and then from the start, everybody really starts, and you make sure that the wallets are broadly available, and until that time, you just make you create moments like these on my stream to explain what it is you are about to do, so that you are not the only one from Nigeria talking, but I'm here in Serbia talking about it, and there's one guy in the Netherlands, and there is one in the USA, and you know, to make it a little broader than it, because that impact.
So let's because we are now touching like 3 or 4 subjects at the same time.
I'm good at it.
Yeah, so let's go back to the.
By the way, let me say something. I've got a lot of time in case you need to go or whatever. We can set also a different day and go continue. But I'll be quiet again.
I'm fine. I'm so. I'll let you decide how long how long you want me. So, I wanted to go back to this model that stands that something is wrong, and about what is so you connected it to let's say gold and currency. So I started, I think, 2 years ago with this sort of a similar idea, and I called it likes. And why I called it likes, because I think money should be like a thumbs up. It shouldn't have. So when people would experience, let's say, an unconditional income stream, then that takes care of all their basic necessities. So you don't need to worry about paying your mortgage because the financial system has collapsed. Your house is yours, your car is yours. There's no loan, and you get this income stream. So then money becomes like a like. So okay, you painted my house. I like you 100 times. So I give you 100 likes, 100 thumbs ups. So money will become less and less important. And I think in the end we don't need money at all. So people will just do. But that's perhaps a little bit utopic thoughts. But
if your timeline is long enough, you're probably going to be right. But I don't believe that will be in our lifetime. You know that.
No, that's true. That's true. I agree. So because we are so used to this let's say wanting to pay for something or wanting to get paid for something, so then we are appreciated. I also have a channel. It's called voluntary. So on Telegram. So where I say so that people should start thinking about working voluntarily, and let's say teach other people just to pay whatever they want, and that's already happening in society. You see it with let's say Dan Dix and these kind of journalists that just bring out there and Corbett and all these people. They work for free basically, and get paid by their audiences because they like them, so they support them. And I think that will, especially when you have a sort of an unconditional income stream, that will be much easier. And people, for example, on circles, also already saying that. They say, okay, I'm here, I get this, so, and I like what you did, so I give you 50 circles or whatever. It's way easier because it really, it doesn't resemble money too much anymore, and that's good. So that's how it should be. But that's you need to. That's a learning process, and we need to, let's say, the last 2,000 years or 3,000 years, we taught how to work with money, and to get rid of it will take generations. It won't won't be easy. But first we need to sort of reimagine this how money is created. So, and I think that's the first step. The money creation thing is just so bad, and the extraction of wealth with this pyramid scheme is so bad. Any war has started from this. All misery that we can imagine started from is let's say the inception of all misery comes from that system. It's almost like one.
Do you think it's intentionally
so
created like that, or that it just became a result of centralization?
It's a bit of the chicken and the egg. I think they're always psychopaths, and when they see a way how to manipulate, and they see that they can do it with this system, then they will do that.
I want to go to this to the story.
So when
isn't it nature of people to behave like that a little bit?
Well, I think for some people, so I think it's nature that some people are psychopaths. So, and they will manipulate it, and they will do anything to because they think it's fun, you know. So
yeah, but still, the people let it be manipulated. You know, if today it could all stop if the people would say, you know, I'm not gonna put a Ukrainian flag on my Facebook and cancel my bank account. It's gonna be a different world. So we let it happen.
Yeah, but it has to do with education. You know, when you keep all the people, when 99.9% of the people is just ignorant to this fact. So what do you want? But if people get proper education,
educate them.
Yeah, but that's very important. So get your children out of school and start telling them the truth.
And let me make an extra point now, because I think part of this education. You can only educate people that want to learn, because my experience even is that although I explained, for example, crypto to people and I gave them some coin, after some while I contact them and I said, hey, the price is up now, it's a good moment to change it to something different. And then they ask me, yeah, do you remember my password? No, I don't remember your password. But you didn't want to learn. You were just, you know, so only if people want to learn are they able to learn. And I think the volatility in the price of crypto coins like Bitcoin is a great way of triggering that will to learn, because how else are people going to be interested in finding out something different if they don't believe that it's going to be better? Or
I think it's very difficult because these people are it's not that they're asleep. So coming back to Matthias, they're just in a psychosis. They don't want to learn. Really, they don't. And that's also what you are let's say feeling, because it's very frustrating that people just don't want to learn. It's just unbelievable.
yeah.
yeah, it's just I also
I,
you give up,
I
you
had a
know.
couple of funny creatures in your Telegram group. They left, by the way, your group also. And just
And,
some hateful comments like, no, I'm telling them, look, I'm Yoshi from Liberland, I'm living without a bank account, and they completely freak out about it, and they just, yeah, but no, I cannot do that. Nah, okay, then try something equal. I'm just trying to give you hope that it's possible, you know? I mean, but they don't want to believe it. They want to be
yeah, exactly.
stuck.
Yeah, it's very. Our people are really they are under a spell, you know. They are under a hypnosis. They don't want it. They really don't want it. And even the people that say they want, it's very difficult to really open up and accept other thoughts. That's also what I noticed. That's what I said. For me, it's also a learning experience. I don't care if it's my 1 coin per hour idea that will remain, but I want to explore it, and I
Yes.
want to explain others. So because there are a lot of, let's say, I think valid concepts behind it. Why you would approach it like this, and why it wouldn't work. So why it wouldn't work in when it's encrypted, for example. I would love to do this in an encrypted way. That's how I started. But I noticed it is not. I don't think it's possible, and because I can sort of explain why it's not possible. But that's
You say,
you can have an.
basically, you say at some point the security is going to be breached.
Yeah.
So the only real security is your biometric data, your eye color, your scars or your eyes or below the eye, or what was it again? You know, that is what makes
Yeah.
your wallet, because it belongs to somebody with your biometric data, and that's the only way how it cannot be stolen.
Sort of, yeah. So it's your peers that decides if you are you. So you need something that, so I can put in my name, but if I only have my name and I don't have anything else, then it's quite easy for somebody to to use also my
Yeah.
name. And so what you want to do is sort of make fraud less easy. But it's in my opinion, is almost impossible to rule out fraud. And it's a way of thinking completely out of the box. So we are, let's say, taught to encrypt and to have passwords and to protect everything, because only if it's protected like that in the most, let's say solid way, then it's protected. But but there are, let's say, when there are issues with it, and let's assume there are issues with it. So we can have a whole discussion about if it's possible to let's say secure your keys. But let's assume it's not possible to secure your keys. So it's not possible. And then assume you have pirate
John
channels.
McAfee
So
will agree with
if
you.
I've worked like, yeah, sorry,
John McAfee will agree with you.
McAfee.
Yeah. He claims it's completely impossible to secure
I don't
your
know.
data because everything is traceable. Also your keystrokes, for example.
Exactly. So, and it's very easy. So for me, it's like, wow, if I was, if I'm Apple or Google, then I would, and that's what I really think. I think Bitcoin is created by the CIA because they knew this technology is there, and they knew people will figure it out. So it's better to be on the, let's say, on the team that created it, so that you can that it's easier to manipulate. And when there's $2 trillion of market cap, you know, when there is 1,000 trillion of value in the world, they don't care. You know, it's less than less. This is 0.2% of what's.
You say the
So the people
Satoshi
that
stash is not going to move until it's 1,000 trillion market cap.
Yeah, so yeah, if Bitcoin should be the new currency, it should reach 1,000 trillion market cap, or at least 250 trillion.
Do you?
Because it's
I'm
money.
talking about the Satoshi stash. Do you know what I mean with that? The 1 million bitcoins that were mined by Satoshi Nakamoto that haven't been moved since he left the project. So there are 1 million bitcoins that belong to Satoshi Nakamoto that were never in circulation, basically, besides for the mining. They could still be moved one day, right? And then.
Yeah. No, I think crypto is heavily manipulated. So that's also why you see the every sense to me. You know, it should go up, but it doesn't. And why doesn't it go up? Because the people that are in control they're just selling. You know, they don't care. And when the price is down,
and
they
together
just buy.
with but they combine it with a narrative where nobody is able to make money because of COVID. Everything is in lockdown, so all the people that had a wealthy income are currently pushed towards selling also because their business that they had is not making the same income as it used to do. So.
And it's the same, you know, it's the same scam they always do. It's the bull and bust circles. So that's what they do. And that's how they make money. Just bull and bust. And if you control the market, if it's gold or silver, it doesn't matter. You know, you just sell and then it goes down and then you buy. And if you have all the money in the world, you can print it. You control it. And that's how you take over.
But the price does go up from this over time. So they can control it temporarily, but if you take a 4-year cycle in Bitcoin, you always make profit because of this manipulation partly.
That is true until the guy with the gun is in front of your door, you know, and then it doesn't matter anymore.
True, yeah.
So.
And maybe that's why they allow Michael Saylor to buy so many of them, because they already got a gun on him, you know. But so, but I do think it's important to make a connection in some way with the old. Don't you agree? Although you start completely new, wouldn't it? The thing that I'm trying to point out earlier as well. You need to somehow convince the other billions of people on this planet that something is wrong, and to completely shut them out is not welcoming them.
To shut them out? What do you mean?
Yes, to not accept their current appreciation system, their money, which is debt, but to completely try and nullify all of that.
Oh, but it's gone. You know,
but that's not true, because I bought these strawberries with that money, you know, and I cannot buy them with your money yet, or with my money for that. I do. Well, yeah.
No, but I'm talking about the value. So when you talk about 1,000 trillion, you just. This is less than 0.01%. That is what you're talking. It's so small. It really.
Yeah, but the people create the value in the end. Nothing has value unless there's a person giving it to it.
So it's very you're very close to just getting your strawberries for free now, because you're paying for it. So if I go here to a market, probably I can get it for free. It's so little. This value is so little compared to all the value that's in the world.
If I go to ask if I can taste them,
cling to them.
I'm sure I will get a strawberry to taste. You know, but that's in the end only because she believes that if they taste right, I will buy a couple more. But okay.
Yeah, or perhaps she believes that you will help them with the financial advice or something like that. So, you know, people get something in return, and that's what I mean with a like. So money is nothing more than a thumbs up, in my opinion. It shouldn't be more than a thumbs up. That's why I started with likes.
Well, let me say one more thing. Sorry for interrupting every time, but the lack of cryptography in your protocol, the cryptography in Bitcoin or EFL for that matter, creates a standard communication which allows people to make trustless interactions because they can trust this cryptography. At least at the moment they think they can, and they do. Right, so at the moment, if I make a Bitcoin transaction, I trust the Bitcoin protocol, and for that matter, I don't have to check the coins of the other or see what color his eyes are, and that does allow for easier transactions, I believe.
Yeah, but it's like to me it's like a sort of you have the fiat currency system, and they just build a sort of an extra little box on top of it, which is but it's still the fiat system, because you use your fiat to buy your Bitcoin, and then
you can also work for them. That's also something that I don't hear a lot of people say. But
yeah, so you can and you can mine them, and so that's all true. But in the end, it's like a sort of an extension of the fiat system, and it needs to be secure, because otherwise people will steal your money. And you don't want that sort of. So what happened when I tried to make sort of an unconditional income stream, money creation? That is, but the issue that you have is you just want to have one instance of a person. So that's just because otherwise. It doesn't make, and then anybody can make 1,000 instances of himself and get 1,000 income streams. And so that doesn't work. So what you want to achieve is a steady money supply. So what you want, and that has to do with inflation. Inflation is nothing else than the expansion of the money supply. Period. Anybody that says anything else doesn't understand what inflation is, or is falling for the propaganda of the governments and the banks. Inflation is just the expansion of the money supply. If I double the money supply, all prices double. Very easy. I look at it as a box of. I think I told you the world as a can of candies, like say 1,000 candies. If I have 1,000 coins, then each candy is 1 coin. If I double the money supply, each candy is 2 coins.
Yeah.
It
could be. You can make it a little more complicated, but okay, I agree.
Yeah, you can make it very complicated, and then you get confused, because that's what they do. They make it very complicated, and then everybody's confused, and okay, it could be, but no, it's just money printing. So, okay, and if it's not money printing, if you don't agree, then just make a new term. Let's call it something else. Inflation with a let's say a square or something. But you can have a definition that money printing is inflation, and what you want to make prices in theory steady. And it's in theory, of course. But if you want to make them steady, you want to have a steady money supply. And I said you want to have a steady money supply per person, because if the population doubles, then you need twice the money. When you assume that also the products double when there are twice as much people. So you want to, let's say, connect the money supply to the amount of people that there are, and the amount of money that's circulating should be steady. So when you have that, then let's say then there's no inflation anymore. Then you just get out. So the let's say the concept of inflation is gone, and that's just good, because when the concept of when inflation is gone, and let's say the amount of products is constant, then the value of all these products is constant, and this makes sense. So all these prices going up is just confusion, and some people benefit from it, and especially if you can manipulate inflation, then you can benefit from it, from inflation, which was a lot. So you don't want that. And then so when you have a steady money supply connected to people, to the number of people. So every person has like, let's say 20,000 coins. That's what is circulating. Then you can go to productivity. So when people are able to double the production of stuff, then price will go down, because it's easier to produce something. So when you have twice the amount of products, then the price of a product just halves. And that makes sense. And then you can see, okay, this product is being produced more efficient, so it's getting cheaper. And that is not inflation or deflation. That is just because it's let's say constructed or harvested more efficient. Mm-hmm. And that's how it should be. That makes life easier. So that's a lot of confusion is gone then.
Let me ask you something. It sounds to me as if you are now talking about your money system being the only money system in the world.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So if that would be the case, so it's all would be, yeah, all would be.
But do you think that is is that the goal for you? Is that what it should become, or do you think there can be others?
Well, you know, if you can create money, if there's another system that can create money in a different way, then you get the same issues. So then these people will just make more and make more and make more, mm-hmm. And inflate their money supply away, and so that doesn't really make sense.
But what if somebody wants to introduce this hard cap coin like a Bitcoin? And they say, no, we are not going to endlessly print them. They have been created already because it's running since 10 years or 12. And we will stick with that. And we can exchange them with yours. But
so what I think the best should remain. So if their protocol is better than our protocol, getting, let's say, fraud out of the system, mm-hmm. Well, why not? And then it could be their system, you know. But the goal should be that the money supply is just permanent and connected to the number of people running around this world. That's just it.
Yeah,
and it can be like
then I have the follow-up question, because your money is depreciating. You have entered a depreciating factor into your money. So how can I save up wealth over time?
Yeah, so depreciation is a very funny thing. So and it's just math. So when I produce 8,766 coin a year, because that's the amount of coins that you produce if you will produce 1 coin per hour, it's 8,766. When you divide that by 40%, so just 0.4, you get to 21, I think 21,000 something. I don't know exactly, but that's why, and that means you can put it in a spreadsheet. But if I put 1 coin, if I add 1 coin every hour, and I make a very long spreadsheet, thousands of rows, and then I devaluate it 40% per year, which is like 0.99965, something like that, per hour. So when I devaluate everything, then and I add up everything, then after 20 years, so you build up coins, but after 20 years it becomes constant. So there will be a moment after 20 years. Yeah. So and what happens? It's very easy to if you think about it. So you add 1 coin, and you have these 20,000 coins in your account. In that hour, these 20,000 coins devalue in 1 hour with 1 coin.
Yeah.
So you can't get more than this 20,000, because it just then it becomes constant.
Yeah, but
if you divide
somebody
it by
is
0.3, so 8,706, then it's like 30 or 20.
For me, this is a clear story. I understand what you're saying, but now for me, I understand what you are explaining, and I see how that system works, and it's nice. But here comes the issue. Now I want to do something extra for my work, because over a longer period of time, I want to save up something for when I'm strong now, but who knows what will happen in 30 years. So I want to work a little bit extra today to have something extra when I'm older. How do I save up that wealth if the value is depreciating all the time? Because somebody has to accept it again and hold that hot potato.
You buy diamond. Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
So you buy diamonds, or you buy gold, or you buy pirate chain.
Yeah, but why would I then?
You buy gold, you buy silver, you buy pirate chain, and that will keep the value. By real estate.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see what it is that you're saying. I get it.
So yeah, you're freezing up.
Yeah, I had the same issue.
I had the
same issue. You also froze up with me. I think we're getting to the topic here, Teun.
So how you need to get it? Yeah. Yeah. So how you should see it? Yeah. Sorry, it's freezing up. But how you should see it is it's a way to get, let's say, a balanced. In a balanced way, money into the supply. So that, let's say, the wealth inequality gap is sort of will be balanced more. And it's just a way to get money into the system. Once that money is in the system, people will do, and then you have a sort of a capitalistic system. If you work hard, you earn a lot of money. And it's better to buy diamonds or gold if you want to keep its value than to keep this money, because this money is not for saving. This money is to be spent and make sure that the products and everything has a steady value. Yeah. It's just a way to get money into the system, but it's not a means of storage because there are better ways of storage than this. This is just a payment system and a valuation system.
Yeah,
because people can understand. So when I live 1 hour, so this, if I buy a hamburger, which is one, so people needed to work to live 1 hour. So people can relate to the value, and that's why it's good to do it per hour.
It's an interesting concept, really, and I like it. It's just that. I'm trying to get you to say that it cannot, because of the depreciating factor, there should also be value/money systems outside of it to allow people to have a kind of ways of saving their means. Let's call it like that. So that you need to get rid of these coins. Let's say it like that. So who would be willing to accept them if they are depreciating so much? And I try to see some kind of an end goal for this coin. Where
you need to spend.
Where can people spend it on endlessly? And in a way, if you combine it with the crypto,
yeah. So
I'm listening. Maybe we should start a call. Maybe we should start a call.
Circles, for example, they.
You want to try and start a fresh call, so we have because this call is now going on for 1 hour. Maybe it helps.
It's going better now. So
yeah. Oh, okay.
Or
we have a delay of like 5 seconds.
Yeah. Okay, let's try it. Okay.
All right. Let's call him again. See if it helps. Hello, can you hear and see me?
Hello?
Hey, I don't have a camera image, Teun.
Yeah, it's coming. Yeah, it needs to build, I think. Hello?
Yeah, I hear you, but now I see you as well.
You should see me now.
Yeah.
I see myself.
I do. Let's try again. We had a very strong delay. Let's hope it's a little better now. Sorry for the confusion. I hope we don't lose the conversation.
All right. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you breathe again. So
yeah. Go ahead. I'll be quiet.
Yeah. So what I was saying about circles, for example, they have another approach. They increase the let's say your income stream. So instead of they start with like I think it's like 15 coins per month or something like that. Or 240 coins per month. I think it's 240 coins per month. And after a year, they increase that number with 7%. So, and they say it's to let's say people that are stepping in later to make them let's say to compensate for the delay. But what happens if you do that is that that you have a sort of a perpetual inflation. So because the money supply will always grow, so it will never stop. It will always grow. So that means that prices will also grow. So the only thing what you do then is just you just raise on both sides, and it doesn't matter. I wouldn't care, you know. It doesn't really matter. But you just need to think that okay, I save a lot, but when I save this, in 10 years I can buy less because also the prices go up with the same amount. So it doesn't matter. So if you devaluate with 40%, with 30%, with 0%, if you increase it, it doesn't matter, because the money supply and the products that are around are always balanced. So that's how you should look at it. And I think people say, okay, well, it's devaluating a lot, so it will cost me. Yeah, but prices will stay. You know, what you were talking in the beginning, you said, yeah, this coin of silver 20 years ago. Oh, sorry, I think it's lost.
No, I'm hearing you.
So this coin 20 years ago was worth like this, and now it's worth like this, and that's just inflation. Imagine that we didn't have this inflation. It would be, would it be better? Yeah, it would be better. That's what you would say. So, but then create a system that is better.
Yeah. Well. I'm interested. I looked into it. The thing is that I need to get hold of my old Android phone because I had to use some.
The delay is very long.
I had to use some app that wasn't available for my Apple one, but I do have an Android phone somewhere for that purpose. So I will try and make a wallet for sure. I will just see how it goes. And it's not, like you say, it's not completely new in that way. I have been introduced to something similar in the past. It's just that how will the value establish itself, you know, because this is unable to trade on a atomic swap for that matter. So how to establish a value that people accept if there is no connection to what there is out there today, you know? Everybody will just say, yeah, why would I be giving you something for nothing? Because although that is what they do today, that's not how they feel about it. So yeah, it sounds like a great solution, but I don't think that people are ready to accept it. You understand my point, that it's nothing bad or that I want to bring against you, but how to explain this to people that are not ready to accept that message, in a way. How to get them ready for that message? Maybe that's a better question, because...
Yeah, I think that's understandable. What they did some... So there were some instances in the past where people started something like this. So I think even in Haarlem they did they had a coin, plastic coin that they had, and then they use it in the neighborhood. And so one. If you wash the windows of somebody else, you can get. So and that just so when a neighborhood accepts this, then it becomes money. Money is nothing. Then if I write on a piece of paper that I owe you 100 euros, then this paper is sort of money. If you believe that I'm good for it, and if you give it to another person, that other person also believes that I will do that. I will pay that. So and that's I'm also working together with Society 4.0, and what we want to do is do some test runs when you create a sort of a cooperation. So you can make a co-op. That means, and then I'm trying to set something up in Nigeria, where you have like a group of people that are working on a farm and do different tasks in a farm, and pay each other system. And then as a co-op goes outside, you sell your products for let's say other money, and then you bring that other money in, and so but something, and then you sort of make a conversion inside that co-op. So how you convert things that are coming from the outside to the inside, something like that. But inside a corporation and this group of people, you have a financial system running, which sort of covers like 80% of what, because you need to buy bread, you need to have a haircut, and there's all tasks that people from this community do with each other. And that's how it works, and very fast it gets value. And for example, circles already sort of prove that. And you have now a marketplace on circles where people just offer vegetables for circles, and a circle is nothing, you know. You just get a few hundred circles every month, and people are willing to produce products for it. So it's already happening, and of course that needs to grow. But I think what is more important, and that's why I think it's more of a study, you need to find out the method to do this the best way, and why is one method better than the other, and that's because there are quite some initiatives in this direction, but to me there are a lot of flaws in these in these systems, and these flaws are so big that it can work for a while, but once, let's say, it becomes a threat for the globalists, then and they can just destroy it within seconds. Yeah, that would be a shame. So you want to have a system that can run without them being able to interfere.
And for that, I really believe,
and that's sort of what I'm focusing on.
I think
so
with that,
to see if that is possible.
I think you are really on a great way with what you got today, because the lack of electronics in it, there is some calculations that are being made by a computer, but the system itself doesn't need, isn't depending on any kind of how to say it correctly. I don't know how to say it correctly. But I really think you are building a unbreakable system. If the will of the people is not corrupted, then it will run, in a way. But yeah, like what you just said, the initial start in Nigeria that you are foreseeing does then depend on some people working in a company to generate value, so that you can attract other value from outside to cover.
But we need to really... Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. So how to launch it is another issue. But that's also why so you can see in the coin, you see some circles and lines that are grouped. I hope I'm still on. I get a You're
message.
Still on. Yes.
Connection. Oh. Sorry. So on the coin you see some circles and lines that sort of indicate that you can run this in isolated groups. So you can have sort of an island of people that are working with this, and and once it gets bigger, so these islands can grow to each other and connect to each other, sort of. So and it can we didn't touch it in this session. So it works with personal blockchains, and which is also very different to what normal blockchains are about. So everybody has his own chain with his own transactions, and people share it with each other. So the people you share it with can see your entire blockchain, your entire financial history, which sounds very crazy, but it's the only way to check without, if that's sort of a result if you want to leave cryptography.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to leave cryptography, then need to open it up. There's no other solution for that, in my opinion. So and in a way it has a big advantage, because nobody can steal your money, because when somebody steals your money, you can see where it goes. So, and that's very powerful.
Yeah.
And that's sort of a result of this out of the box thinking. So you need to trade. It's sort of a trade-off. So do I want to open up my spendings with people, but then to be able to see to be able to identify any thief? Do I want to do that? And I think you will want to do that if there is an alternative besides it, like a cryptocurrency, like Pirate Chain or whatever, or diamonds or any other fungible money that you can use, and that will be there because people will still be using diamonds and gold and silver to be fungible.
But what is then the reason for those people to sell it if they are mining it? That's they need.
Well, the only purpose of it is to break the monopoly of these 3,000 people and sort of blanket it over the entire population, so that everybody has a portion in the money creation, which will let's say solve so many problems, because then so there's no poverty, all your basic necessities are being taken care of. And that is something that is, let's say, an opportunity you have only once. But when you reset the financial system, you have a possibility to do this. And then you solve, let's say, all the hunger in Africa, all these kind of things that you really want to solve, you can solve them. But you need to make sure that everybody can get this piece of this pie. And I think that is more important than being fungible, when you can be fungible anyway by buying gold or buying anything else, or cryptocurrencies.
Have you tried?
So these are two.
Have you tried philanthropist Bill Gates for funding?
Yeah, actually I did. Like, I think before I knew he was like wrong, I wrote a letter to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Actually, it was about my housing system, but you know.
That's when he started. That's when he started to develop the digital identity.
Yeah. So
thanks.
Yeah,
thanks.
I noticed
thanks.
That. Yeah. No.
Just kidding.
It was about my housing system, not about my coin. But yeah, these. Yeah, that's also when I noticed that these people are not interested in helping people. I have a solution to clean up some very terrible slum places here, and I went to UN Habitat and all these people that claim that they want to do something good for the world. They're not interested
no.
at all. Yeah. The only thing that they are interested in is to get on that plane to go to that next annual.
The president of
meeting.
Liberland is also there.
Yeah, it's just so terrible. Where he's in at the Davos?
Yes,
Where is
yes.
he? To fight or to join them?
I think to join them. Yeah, but I'm persona non grata for a reason, Teun. So I can sit here with a straight face and don't worry about my karma too much. You know.
Very good. Yeah. So yeah. So that's
you think
that's sort of.
You know what? Because I think I'm really enjoying this conversation, but I also feel like I'm getting to the limit of what I can take in one conversation. So
exactly.
Maybe we should chat about some little other things a little bit and continue on later, because I have of course already looked into your proposal over the weekend, but I'm not sure if the others, we are currently having 4 viewers, I'm not sure if they are already aware. This was supposed to be a AMA, Ask Me Anything, so if somebody has a question, then maybe this is a good moment to ask it, but maybe we would do another session, another day, and go a little bit deeper into how to create an unbreakable coin for the elites that have unlimited resources and technological knowledge, basically. Because I really do think that your proposal has something very strong in it, and that is your will to create something unbreakable, even, you know, not using computers in that way, because you don't trust the computer, let's just say it like that in a simple form. So I really think that the personal level that you create is adding an amazing layer of security. The only issue that I, you know, kind of already can ask now, but how to set a benchmark for this value? That's all the time what I'm like trying to see, like how is this going to get a recognized, established acceptance rate, and that people know what they got, and you know, I don't,
it's a good point, and let's say I also said I don't want it to be on an exchange.
Mm-hmm.
I want it to be separate, because putting it on an exchange is just confusing. So it's better that you just say this coin is the value of this coin is just $1.50, and people should act like it. And once they act like it and the money supply is constant, then it should become reality. But that's a stretch.
Yeah, well, let me tell you then something, because because of the history on the planet that we have today, the average, how much is that 1 coin per hour? How many coins is that per month? Do you know that by heart?
Yeah, it's like, I think it's like 700.
700 times 1.5 makes about $1,000, right?
Yeah.
So the average salary, if somebody is working here in my local area, is around $500. And now all of a sudden you are going to introduce something that is going to make them earn, I just mentioned, if you want to use a different word, please fill me in, but that receive 1,000 per month.
Yeah, and it's way more, because your child also receives it, and your wife or your husband.
And so,
you know, so you get a lot of coins, but that is how much they stole from us. You know?
Yeah, but now here comes the problem, because somebody in this community is going to say, yeah, you know what, I want to travel to the next village where nobody knows about this coin, and they don't take it, so I want this $1.50. And they are not going to be there, because the people are not going to pay for it if they depreciate 40% over time. So
yeah, well, could be, you know. It's also the chicken and the egg story, you know. When everybody would accept it, it would be like that.
Not another one.
Can imagine.
Not another one. Are we with the chicken and the egg again, Teun? It's time to call it for today, guys. We are at the chicken and the egg, and we need some time to think about it. But I really enjoyed today's conversation. Do you have a couple of websites that I can share with the people, Teun? I already wrote down onecoinh.org. Let me do that again.
Yeah.
For anybody.
So, and there's and on that site you can find a Telegram group that we're in.
Yeah.
So also a good way to ask questions, which the Telegram group is there to ask questions. And then, well, I have. You can also go to my Betonic. That's my company where we do this housing.
Oh,
so
I thought you said Bitonic. I was like, I know that owner. You are not it.
No. Yeah, well, we were first. I think we were. I think we were. So this name is there a long time. So it's beton. It's like concrete,
yes.
and with IQ, with IQ.com. So there you can find, let's say, the housing systems that we set up.
All right, it's in the chat for the people to see. I think I will run one more raffle prize. I'm giving away 1 million honk to the next winner. I'm making. I have already given away over 1 billion of these honk tokens, and that's about 1% of the total supply. And we just keep on going, making people millionaire every time that I stream. Always feels like a nice way of pointing out how we live in a clown world. But this is a token on top of Smart BCH, so it is working with the cryptography. That does make it possible for me to trade it with somebody I have never seen before. And yeah, well, the current value of one of these tokens is $30. It used to be $15 in October, and yeah, it's been moving in between since years. And what to say about it? I mean, that's what I bought this computer from, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, I think I need to think about it a little bit more, because I'm your answer with diamonds didn't please me enough yet, because the one that is selling those diamonds also needs to be selling using his money for something. And if you got too many diamonds, you cannot eat 100 burgers per hour, you know, that's the thing. Yeah. So some people try, maybe.
No, but that's true. But no, to get value in that system is
you need somebody to be willing to work for it. But that's the entire thing. You are saying to get it without work.
There are a lot of but there are a lot of examples that just started like that and just got value.
Yeah.
So it's not that it's never done. So it's but to get it, let's say, widely accepted, that will be another story.
Yeah. All right.
But I think to close it off, there should be an alternative on how money is created than giving this monopoly to this small group of people. And I think that people should focus on that. And we hope we can get to the best solution, even if it's not my.
Maybe participate in the next raffle and you get 1 million honk. They have also once been created in a different way than we do. I don't know if you are already friend of EFL, but it's the Bitcoin of the Netherlands, accepting Dutch-speaking people with a little crypto donation if they dare to tweet that they became friend. So far, in the last 8 years, about 500 Dutch citizens have completed the task, and that's of course not enough. So
I left Twitter a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But you can also use Facebook, I believe, or all these others.
Also not on Facebook. I left all these.
Well, or you could put it on your onecoinage.org that you endorse the friend, something like that. But anyway, that's maybe also something for another time. We are also in contact on Telegram, so I guess we will talk more there, and maybe, I don't know, in a couple days when we feel like it again. If we got something good to add to this conversation, we should definitely do it again, because I enjoyed it a lot. James Torka says, great chat guys, I missed the start, but I will rewatch it. Of course, all the episodes are available for replay for 2 weeks, and this specific conversation will get a highlight video on YouTube. So you can expect that from me in the next couple of days. You will get a link. And thanks for being here today with us, Teun. We didn't get any question from the chat, so I cannot ask you anything from them, but maybe next time if we do it again.
Very good. I enjoyed it also a lot. Thank you.
Thanks for your time, and enjoy the rest of your day. Ciao, ciao.
Yes, you too. Ciao, ciao.
All right, that was Teun, everybody.